of consulting. So, and that's continued, right? So my background was, I developed some very effective methodologies for helping companies really rescue troubled projects, critical projects that were out of control, walking into a team I'd never seen before, uniting them around a common goal, and using a process to get us back on track. So I did a lot of that for Motorola, for Aon, a lot of big companies. And then I got my ultimate challenge back in 2007 when the Marines gave me a contract to develop this program that you're going to experience today. The goal was to reduce casualties and improve warfighting skills in combat, which is pretty much the toughest environment that you can imagine, obviously, because people are trying to kill you on top of everything else. So I've continued to evolve that, took my methodology for Project Rescue, applied it to the brain, and have continued to tackle more and more problems, although my problems now are around teams and people. Right? It's not regulatory or compliance issues. It's everything from learning disabilities on one end and ADHD all the way up to professional athletes. I was telling Bonnie before, one of my clients right now who I love working with is the goalie for the Columbia national women's team. So started working with her. She actually had one of the highest saves per game, and her team qualified for the World Cup and the Olympics. So it doesn't matter who I work with, everyone's a new challenge. Same thing with teams. So along the way, I've learned a lot about how the brain works and how we can actually change our attitude, as well as how we can change habits in less than an hour as opposed to 6 to 8 weeks. And it all is based from what I learned about how the brain works. So one of the things, if you've ever seen me speak before, which you're going to experience today, is very different. I kept adding slides and slides and slides, right? So I would much rather understand how you measure success and how I can help you get to the success that you want. And at the same time, we'll still do this very, very important exercise. It's the one we developed from the Marine Corps. Many of you experienced it. I guarantee you, you'll have a different brain when we're done when we started. And then I'll give you an opportunity where you can get the exercise. I'll just email it to you with instructions so you can continue to use it on your own during the day, before meetings, before work, whatever. Now, the only thing about that is when we actually get to the exercise, everyone will need to be unmuted, and everyone will have to turn on their camera if you can. And you'll experience why that is as we go through the exercise. So I know some of you are multitasking, listening, that's fine. While I talk, that's okay. But once we get to the exercise, you have to be involved. That's really how it works. So that's my life up to now, Bonnie.
Okay, should we get started?
Sure. So let's get started. Let me share my screen. And let's see, put this. I actually switched to one big monitor as opposed to two. So let's see how this works when I share my screen. And make sure it goes to the right one. Here is this. So let's share that. And then go to from beginning. All right. Is that, can you guys see that okay?
Yes.
You see that? Okay, so basically we're going to train your brain for success at Bonnie's breakfast. Bonnie's breakfast. So the first thing I want to do is it's about for you guys, right? And so part of that is, I'm sure you've thought about this. You all have a number of projects going on, but think about what success is to you, right? I mean, everybody's doing different things. You may want success with your family. You want success at work. You're working on maybe a book. So I want you to think a little bit about what would be a milestone of success for you by the end of the year. Okay, we've got a few months left. Just think about it a little bit. And I'm sure if you are critical about your success, you are getting advice, right, from Bonnie and from other people. You're trying to learn what you need to. Hopefully you filled in the gaps, what's holding you back. Maybe you want to take some more courses. Maybe you want to experience some more things. Now, the thing that happens, though, is as we go through our plan for success, we have setbacks, right? Things come up. We can't get through certain barriers. There's some things that are holding us back. it's very easy at those times to get discouraged, right? Or maybe change our plans. My goal here is to empower you so no matter what obstacles you have, you're going to be able to overcome them and get through them. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to kind of do like a test. Okay, so and again, for this one, if everybody could open up your sound and your pictures, what we're going to do is this is actually one of the exercises we use, but it's also a great way to establish a baseline for you on how you're processing information right now. And we're going to be able to improve that because this will give a sign to you of maybe what's holding you back. If you can see, it's just a page of arrows, right? That's all it is. Arrows, we use arrows because it's the simplest symbol that requires a decision, right? You probably make very complex decisions. An arrow is a very simple decision. This is actually part of the exercise we developed for the Marine Corps and Navy SEALs, athletes, salespeople. Everybody uses the same exercise to start with. And so the first thing I want to do, and I want to ask all of you to look at the arrow in the upper left-hand corner and tell me what color it is.
Red.
Red.
Okay, good. Larry, you win. You said it first. You got it right. So everybody else, what direction is it pointing?
Right.
Exactly. Very, very simple, right? That's the simplest decision you have to make today. But you just made two different decisions off the same data set, right? A red arrow, you had to decide the color or you had to decide the direction. That's an example of the basic thinking process that determines your performance in whatever you do. We basically break it down, think it through, and execute. No matter what you're doing, you're looking at a spreadsheet, you're in a meeting, you're looking at this arrow, you have to break that information down into what's important. You have to filter out everything that's not important. You have to then think through what you want to do with it. In one case, it was color. In one case, it was direction. And then you had to execute by saying it. Now, I had you say it out loud, and that's why this is so important. The more parts of the brain that we can engage in anything we do, and I'm going to talk a little bit later how we can apply that to habits too, if you'd like, the faster and stronger the brain connections become. This is called robust stimulation. Robust stimulation was critical research to me when I developed this program for the Marine Corps in 2007. They basically found that research in MIT that robust stimulation will start to change the brain immediately. Now, my definition is a little different. Maybe they're working with, but to me, robust stimulation is one, the brain has to work hard, and two, it has to work in two critical areas simultaneously. The first is the parts of the brain that are critical to executive function, right? Our ability to make decisions is critical. The very important next piece, though, is those connections are being made to the parts of the brain that interface with the real world. Okay, eyes, ears, mouth, we just used, right? We'll get into using some other parts in a little bit. That means that all those connections that you use to process data are also being stimulated. Incidentally, it's why the digital programs like Lumosity and Cogmed, and you always get better at the tests. In fact, they're actually designed to help you do better on the standardized tests, but very minimal real world performance according to years of research, because you're not connecting to the real world. We want you to connect to the real world. You have to use your eyes, ears, and mouth at the same time you're making decisions. So we're going to do a little bit of a baseline, and I want you to experience how you're processing information right now in a very busy world. So I'm going to get my timer here, and what I'm going to do is when I say go, I'm going to ask all of you to read off all the arrows on the page, left to right, just like you're reading a book, right? Out loud, just like you did, but only the directions, no color. So right, left, down, up is the first four. Now, to make it like real life with a little bit of pressure, we're going to make it a race. Okay, so when I say go, that means you got to stay focused. You got to tune everybody else out. When I say go, I want you to read off all the arrows on the page, left to right, left to right. And it's a race, right? So when you're done, just raise your hand. Now, I also want you not to follow along with the finger. That's a very normal thing to do. When we focus with the finger, we're only looking at one arrow at a time. One of the purposes of this is to allow you to process huge amounts of data from back here and then selectively focus on what's important. So when I say go, as fast as you can, out loud, right? Now I'll give you a hand action because this is out loud and it's a race. It'll be easier for you if you go louder. Okay, easier for you if you go louder. So as loud as you'd like, as fast as you can. Don't worry if you make a mistake, you can keep going. Just raise your hand when you're done. Only directions. Any questions? All right, on your mark, get set, go.
Right,
Right,
left, down, up, right, up, right,
up,
down, right, up,
down, right,
left, down, left,
down,
down, left, down,
down,
right,
left, down,
up,
right,
right,
down,
down,
up,
right,
right,
up,
right,
left,
up,
left, down, down, right,
down,
left,
right,
up,
left,
right,
up,
right, down, left,
down,
up,
right,
left, down,
up,
up,
left,
left,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
left, up, right, up,
right, up,
right,
right,
up,
up,
right,
down,
up,
left,
down,
up,
right,
left,
left, up,
down,
left, down, left,
up,
down,
right,
down, up,
left,
right, down,
up, right, up,
right,
left,
right,
down,
left,
up,
down, up,
right,
left,
down, right,
up,
down,
down, right,
right,
left, down,
up,
right, up,
down,
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 up,
up, right,
right,
down,
down,
down, right,
down,
left,
left, down,
down,
right,
right,
left,
left,
down,
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 right,
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 up,
up,
left,
left, left,
right,
right,
down,
down, right,
up,
left, left,
right,
up,
left,
down, right,
right,
left, up, right, up,
down,
left, down,
up, down,
up,
left,
down,
right,
left, up, right, up,
right,
left, right,
down, up,
down,
right,
up, left, right, left,
down,
right,
up,
left,
down.
down, right.
Good, keep going, keep going. Is that it? People, did someone quit before the end? That's okay. That's normal, right? So you just had to process 128 decisions, right? In about between 110 and 120 of time, right? But very distracting, right? It's like life. You got people, they're saying things in the background, it's hard to focus. That's the limitations you're working with right now as you try to process information. So now I want to give you a little bit of some concepts about what we're going to do, and then we're going to actually do some brain training and see if we can improve that.
Can I ask you a silly question first?
Sure.
When you're working with Israelis who read from right to left, opposite, is it different?
Well, it's interesting. So, I haven't worked with Israelis. Yeah, I worked with a number of Arabs, right? So it's the same thing. So, for them, it's obviously a change. Now, obviously, it helps them reading here. There's a lot of exercise, but one of the variations we're going to do a little bit will highlight that. The fact is that it's just much easier for us to go left to right. So we always go left to right because that's Western culture. So Arabs, Israelis, whatever, they have to be able to function here. The brain changes incredibly quickly. So a lot of times they'll struggle, but very quickly it becomes faster, just like everyone else. But that's a good question. People also ask me about color blindness, right? So I have worked with people with color blindness, right?
I was wondering too.
Right? So they pick up the shades. So they may be different shades of brown because we're going to do color in a little bit, right? But the brain compensates, and then that just becomes the normal way to process. So good question. And by the way, I want this to be interactive. So if any questions come up, please, I can only see 6 of you on my screen, but feel free to say something, get my attention if I don't see if you have a question, because I want to answer your questions as we go through this. So the most basic concept of all this is neuroplasticity, right? This is the incredible ability that God has given our brains to change from stimulation. This book was very effective for me when I was developing the program. The brain to change itself. It's all about neuroplasticity and how stimulation changes our brain. Now, the robust stimulation is what changes it fast. So that's neuroplasticity. And the concept I want you to remember and take from this is everything you do changes your brain, and the more you repeat it, the deeper the ruts. So if you're struggling with bad habits, for example, we'll talk about that in a little bit, how to change that. Examine what you're doing and see what you're repeating, right? So the purpose of this understanding, or you got kids, same thing, right? If they're always doing the same thing and you don't want them to, find out what they're repeating, change what they're repeating, and you'll make it a lot easier for them to do what you want. Same thing with your staff, people that work for you. Try to understand the things that they're repeating. And if you want to change it, you've got to make some shifts. You've got to change that because it's repetition that makes the difference. Now, applied neuroplasticity is a field I created in response to the Marine Corps 15 years ago now. And there are three critical components. I basically took my Agile methodology for solving problems and rescuing projects and applied it to the brain. There's three critical components that you need to think about when you want to make any changes. One, you have to define the process that you want. I'm gonna give you an example of how that works with habits in a minute, right? Once you define what you want to happen, you have to practice it with robust stimulation. One of the reasons it can take 6 to 8 weeks to change a habit, there's a lot of great books about changing habits out there, is because you have to remember to do something different. You have to write it down, and when the opportunity comes, try to do the right thing. Robust stimulation crams everything into a very tight amount of time. So the robust stimulation will make your brain change fast. And then the critical piece is an Agile approach to continuously change. So as you're going to experience it with the brain training, but even with a practice, right? What works in one environment, you can shift to another environment, right? Continually learning and, the Agile cycle of continuous improvement as opposed to one very long defined project. So let's apply this now to habits, okay? So, and I'm going to give my contact information on the back of this. If you have some habits you want to change, feel free to reach out to me. But the example I use a lot when I speak at conferences is something that a lot of us can relate to, either ourselves or our kids, and that's getting out of bed on time, right? Got to get out of bed on time. Now, why is that? Why do people struggle with getting out of bed on time? Because most people, what they do is the alarm goes off, they think I got 10 more minutes to hit the snooze button, right? And the snooze button and the snooze button. And they're kind of in that groggy period. And then all of a sudden they panic. I got to get out of bed, right? And then they run and they rush and everything kind of gets off to a bad start in the morning. Why? What we know about neuroplasticity tells us why that doesn't work. It's because we're not creating a get out of bed habit. We're creating a hit the snooze button habit, right? Stimulation, alarm goes off. What do? We repeatedly hit the snooze button. So the way we change that, and I've had so many people use this, and it's so helpful, is we have to define what we want, engage with robust stimulation, and then continue to improve it. So what you need to do, if this is you or someone that you know, and again, this applies to anything, but for this particular habit, on a day when you have nothing to do, right? So you carve out an hour or so on a Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, nothing else is going on, right? So what you want to do then is you want to write down, define the process that you want to become your new habit. Okay, so, and again, I can send this to you if you'd like, but the basic one we use is one, when the alarm goes off, the first thing you do is you get out of bed. Then you turn off the alarm. Then you turn and you make your bed, right? And Admiral McRaven was famous for saying, you got to make your bed first thing in the morning. It's the best way to get your day off to a great start because you already accomplished something. Then you start to walk, to the bathroom or the closet, whatever's next. Then you turn around and you look and you say, nice job, right? So you should feel good about the fact that you're out of bed and your bed is made. So that's what you define. Get into bed, right? Get as comfortable as you can. Set your alarm for 2 minutes. Start thinking about the 5 things. It's only 5, the 5 things you're going to do. And what we want to do is create what neuroscientists call a zombie system, which is where we take, maybe they watch horror movies when they're kids or something. I don't know. I guess zombies, they act without thinking. We want to take something from our conscious to our unconscious. And a perfect example would be driving a car, right? When you're 16, first time you're learning to drive a car, it's so much mental overhead. You're just trying to drive this 2-ton beast without killing anybody. Now you drive a car without thinking about it. It's the same amount of mental effort, but your brain is made into a zombie system. And that's what we want to do with getting out of bed. So you're sitting there, you're thinking, the alarm's going off in 2 minutes, you're starting to think about this. And then as soon as the alarm goes off, consciously, you get up, turn off the alarm, make your bed, start to walk away from your bed, turn around and say, nice job. Okay, set the alarm for 2 minutes, get back in and do it again. So you repeat this 5 or 6, maybe 7 times, as many times as it takes, but you're gonna start to experience that after several of these, you're gonna be completely relaxed, right? Just like you are when you wake up. You're gonna be anticipating something very positive, right? This is great for your mindset too, right? You're gonna experience something positive, you're looking forward to it, the alarm goes off, you pop up, you go through your process. You do that enough time, and now we're talking about, 2 times 5, we're talking about almost a half an hour at the most. And yet I guarantee when the alarm goes off Monday morning, that's the process you're gonna follow. So you have just using that robust stimulation. Now the robust stimulation is key, right? That's actually getting out. You can't just think about it. You can't think through it. You actually have to physically go through the actions so that that's what becomes all parts of your brain that interface with the real world are engaged in order to make it happen so fast. So guarantee. So that's an example. Happy to, if you'd like, at the end, contact me. I can send you actually a worksheet if you want to work through some of your different habits that you want to change. I've had people do this, everything from, getting their kids to clean up their room to going for a run after work. I mean, as long as you have the components, you define them, you use robust stimulation to change them, I guarantee you'll change your habit very, very quickly. So that's applied neuroplasticity to habits, but this is the same basis for the brain tree, right? We want to define the parts of the brain that we want to change, executive function and connection to the real world. We're going to apply robust stimulation. You saw a little bit about that when you read those arrows off out loud, right? Eyes, ears, and mouth, and an agile approach to continue to improve. Basically, we're taking your brain, which is very moldable and plastic. We're applying the design of what you want to look like and mold it through repetition using robust stimulation. The picture at the bottom is an EEG of someone doing the exercises, right? You'll notice that the connections are throughout the brain. So we're going to engage both hemispheres, all 4 lobes, and memory simultaneously. And the more that those connections are stimulated, the faster and the stronger those connections will be. So the goal is you already have a lot of ability experience, right? You're all trying to teach yourself and train yourself, try to learn more about it. What we want to add is the focus and faster thinking component to everything else you're doing so that you can make significant changes in your life and get through those blocks that might be holding you back from success as quickly as possible. And we're going to make those changes fast. So that's our goal. Just really quick. So over the last 15 years, I've been fortunate to help everyone. So, and I want this to be interactive. If there's a certain area that you're struggling with, I guarantee you, I've seen it from professional athletes to salespeople to people with learning disabilities to kids with ADHD. It doesn't really matter. What we want to do is we want to change the brain first and use an agile approach to customize it to whatever is holding us back. So before we go start training, any questions on anything I've covered so far? You have questions about habits, questions about the brain, questions about how what you do impacts everything you do? No questions? All right. Okay, good. So let's experience some brain training. Okay, so here are those same arrows, right? But there's only 4 columns this time. It's like if you have a big project to do, you break it up into smaller sections, and every time you accomplish one, you've established a milestone. One, that does a lot of things. One, it keeps you moving forward, right? You're not overwhelmed. And at the same time, what you're doing with the small chunks, you're applying to the big chunks. So what we're going to do now is in this again, open your screen and your microphone. We're going to add a different component to this. I'm going to ask you all to read off the arrows all together, but this time it's not a race. This time I want you all to try to say them together at the same time. This adds a huge amount of cognitive work to your brain. You might not even be aware of it, right? But this is what will help you communicate better with people, be more aware of your environment, because now not only do you have to focus on the arrows, you have to focus on where everybody else is. Now, a couple rules about this. One, it's very important that you don't stop if you make a mistake, right? Because if you have a rhythm going and you make a mistake, you're gonna, and try to fix it, you're gonna throw everybody else off. We've all been on teams, right, where someone messes up and all the momentum is lost because we're trying to figure out how this one person made a mistake. We don't care about mistakes. And all this work, it's very important to not stop for mistakes, which is very difficult for most of us because our whole life we're told not to make mistakes. What will happen is if you don't stop for mistakes, you'll keep your momentum, you'll process faster and smoother, and your brain will remember, and the next time you won't make the same mistake. So you got to trust yourself that when you train your brain to do what it needs to do, it will take care of all the details. Now, the first way we're going to do this is a little different. We're going to say 3 directions, and in the last column, we're going to say the color. This is to improve a very important cognitive skill called anticipation, right? So color and direction use 2 different parts of your brain. So your brain has to anticipate that it has to do something different at the end. So that first row would be right, left, down, blue. Okay, so very simple, 3 directions and a color. Important that you try to stay together. If you make a mistake, just keep going. If you make a mistake, you're actually just helping everybody else focus better, right? Because you might distract them. You got to overcome that. And again, so I'll say the first row to lead you off. You guys continue all the way down out loud till you get to the bottom. Any questions?
Nope.
All right, everybody ready? Let's go. Right,
Right,
left,
left,
down,
Down,
blue.
down,
down,
right,
right,
up,
up,
green,
green,
Blue.
down,
down,
left,
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 down,
down,
red,
red,
Right.
right,
right,
up,
up,
left,
left, red,
Good.
left,
left,
up,
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 yellow,
yellow, up,
up,
left,
left, down,
down,
blue,
blue, right,
right,
up,
up,
right,
right,
red,
red,
Left.
left, down,
down,
left,
left,
green,
Up.
up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
up,
yellow,
yellow,
left,
left,
left, down,
down,
red,
red,
down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
blue,
blue,
Good.
left,
left, down,
down, down,
down,
yellow,
yellow,
right,
right, right,
down,
down, red,
red,
Left.
left,
left,
up, right,
right,
blue,
blue,
up,
up,
down,
down,
left,
left,
green,
green,
down, up,
up,
right,
right,
red,
red,
All right, wasn't so bad, was it? So if you notice, in the beginning, it was very difficult to sync, right? But by the end, the last row, you guys were synced perfectly. You're not aware of it, but there's a lot of mental effort going on to make that happen. This is why it's so powerful for teams, right? You get a whole team doing this together, and everybody starts to think better and communicate better and so forth. So every time we add another variation, it's going to be a little bit harder. There's a very specific reason for that. That robust stimulation continues as long as we continue to make it harder. It's like lifting weights. If you ever lifted weights, you 5, 10, 15. If you stop lifting at 15 pounds, that's pretty much where you're going to plateau. You keep lifting heavier weights, you continue to change your body. It's the same thing with your brain, much faster. The other thing about this is all you're doing is saying silly arrows, right? I mean, it's so simple, but your brain is doing a tremendous amount of work in order to do it, and it gets a reward. Every time we start something new, you might not be sure you can do it. The brain releases some dopamine, makes you feel good, perfectly okay to laugh. A lot of people laugh when they do this. Dopamine makes you feel good. The endorphins kick in when you accomplish it. So a lot of stuff is going on with your brain, even though we're doing something simple.
John,
So
John, I have a question.
Sure.
You were an objective observer, not participating in the test. So I'm curious, when you do this with team development and other things, does this help you identify individuals on the team that might fulfill different functions in a team? One is a leadership function, one is a follower function, one, you know what I'm saying? Are you able to identify different characteristics?
Yeah, that's an excellent question.
Good question.
So yeah, so that's why Larry's here, right? Good question. So it's interesting with teams. So it doesn't matter what the role they do on the team, how they're efficient their mental processing is critical to that role. So what I typically listen for, and this is the art part, right? The science is the exercise is the art part. So if there's a team, and let's say there's someone who's continuously stopping to fix mistakes, right? I want to direct my coaching to him to encourage him to not do that. So I might, kind of, obviously don't make him feel bad, encourage him why that's important. And so once he gets over that obstacle and he's going smooth everywhere else, he experiences the bonding, the teamwork, and everything else. So when I work with leadership teams before, I mean, everyone has a different role, right? CEO, COO, CIO, all these people together, they have different roles. And typically, as you know, they have those roles because of their conditioning, right? I mean, you've got your CFO who's focused on money. You've got your CIO who's focused on, creating stuff. You got your CEOs trying to get everybody together and move forward. When they do these exercises together, everybody starts to sync up their thinking, and they're laughing, they're having fun. And then when I work with teams, I encourage them to start every meeting with a few minutes of the arrows. Because you know what happens in meetings, right? Everybody's thinking about their own agenda. They come in there, they're thinking about their kids, whatever. A few minutes of this gets everybody focused, everybody thinking together, everybody, really in a great mood. An insurance company I work with their leadership team, about 2 weeks afterwards, I got an email from the HR director. She goes, "We just had our quarterly budget meeting. Normally everybody hates each other when we're done. It takes several hours." She said, "We're done in 90 minutes and everybody's singing Kumbaya." She actually said Kumbaya, right? Because everybody is seeking, regardless of where their predisposition is, what they do. When they all come together like this, it kind of erases all that problem. So get back to your question. I don't adjust it based on what their role is, but just where I see that they might be holding themselves back. And then that allows them to do whatever they need to do better. Does that answer your question, Larry? Or
sort of. What I was really looking at was, as an observer of the participants in the exercise, are you able to identify characteristics in individuals that tell you what the best role for that individual might be, and sometimes spotting a miscast role for a person, like somebody that's in a COO position that maybe they should be in a different role?
Interesting. Not really. I'm really just trying to help them do better wherever they are. Now, one thing about this program is it really improves confidence, self-confidence. And so what might happen is someone who's not comfortable in their role, after they go through this, they may ask to step up or move over to another role where they feel they might be better, right? Maybe they don't have a lot of confidence. They're holding themselves back because it's safe. Once they have that confidence up and their ability up, then maybe they'll stretch themselves to something else, either another job or another position or something. So I really can't pick that out as much. I mean, sometimes I can. I mean, again, people that are really anal about making mistakes, if they're in an HR role or something, they probably shouldn't be there, right? So
They should probably be a compliance officer.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. So, and that's probably where, if we did something like your insights would be good on that, right? I'm focused on their capabilities, as opposed to their roles so much.
That was better. Thank you.
Yeah, no, good question. All right, so next step, that was anticipation, right? And the next one is very, very important for processing information. We're going to work on pattern recognition. Our ability to recognize patterns quickly and unconsciously determines our ability to go through a spreadsheet, right, and see where things are. Read people in meetings, right? In sports, recognizing the patterns of your opponent and your opponent. So at a very unconscious level, we want to very much improve the ability to recognize patterns. So this time we're going to do a very, very simple pattern: direction, color, direction, color. Question, Michael?
No, I think he had to sign off.
Oh, that's too bad. So direction, color is the pattern. If you say direction, next one's going to be color. So it's also some memory piece. But right yellow down blue is that first row. I'll get you guys started again. Stay together if you can, like you did the last one at the end was great. And just back and forth, direction, color, direction, color. Okay, everybody ready? All right, I'll do the first row again. To get you started. Let's go. Right, yellow, down,
blue, down,
red,
Up,
green,
down,
yellow, down, red, right, blue, left, red,
good.
left, green, blue,
up,
hello,
up, yellow, down, blue, right, green, right, red, left, blue, left, green, up, yellow, up, yellow, left, red, down, red,
Nice.
down, green, right, blue, left, blue, down, yellow, right, yellow, down, red, left, green, right, blue, up, green, left, green, down, green, right, red.
Okay, good.
Is everybody doing it? Not everybody's doing it, right? Not everybody's saying it aloud.
I hope they are. No, I can kind of, but again, you were syncing, right? So again, but if you notice, this was harder than the one before, even though we just added one color. That's because I didn't tell you this, but in order to do that, you had to focus, right? If you lost your focus, you forget where you were and you'd make a mistake. Now, one of the most powerful benefits of this program is improved focus, because every time you do a variation, we're training your focus, even though I'll never tell you to focus. And focus obviously is really critical to helping you become successful, right? You got to stay focused. So you experience that, you still are able to keep yourself in order. I heard one mistake, but nobody cares, right? You just keep going and you really synced up nicely.
exactly.
So,
And I felt like when you said it was a good comment, but when you said good, of course, it was like people were processing, like right after that, there was like more like discord. And then towards the end, like my cat mute. So that was personal to me. But again, when you lose the focus, so you're right.
yeah,
Mistakes.
good. So the next part of executive function training is working memory, holding something in your short-term memory and then executing on it. And that's going to be very, very simple. We're just going to translate the colors to corresponding fruit. So red is apple, yellow is banana, green is lime, and blue is blueberry. So apple, banana, lime, blueberry is the first row. Okay, you won't need to write these down. I guarantee you, you'll remember them very quickly. And if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter, right? It's always okay to make mistakes. So I'll start you off with the first row again. You guys go all the way down the rest. Go ahead and unmute yourself. If you can, you'll get more out of it yourself, as well as with helping everybody else, right? So, because they have to process what you're saying as well. Everybody ready? All right, let's go. Apple,
Apple,
banana,
banana,
Oh,
lime,
banana,
lime,
lime,
blueberry.
blueberry,
Lime,
apple,
Lime,
lime,
apple,
apple,
lime,
lime,
lime.
lime,
lime,
Blueberry,
blueberry,
banana,
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 lime,
lime,
apple.
apple,
good.
Apple,
apple,
blueberry,
blueberry,
banana,
lime,
banana,
banana,
apple,
apple. Lemon,
banana,
banana,
lime,
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 blueberry,
blueberry,
banana.
banana,
Blueberry,
blueberry,
banana,
banana,
lime,
lime,
lime, blueberry.
blueberry,
Apple,
apple,
lime,
lime,
apple,
apple,
apple.
apple,
Banana,
banana,
blueberry,
blueberry,
banana,
banana,
lime.
lime,
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 banana,
banana,
blueberry,
blueberry,
banana.
banana,
Apple,
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 lime,
lime,
apple.
apple,
Blueberry,
blueberry,
lime,
lime,
banana,
banana,
blueberry. Banana,
banana,
blueberry,
blueberry,
lime,
lime,
banana.
banana,
Apple,
apple,
banana,
banana,
blueberry,
blueberry,
apple.
apple,
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 lime,
lime,
banana,
banana,
blueberry.
blueberry,
Lime,
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 apple,
apple,
lime.
lime,
Blueberry,
blueberry,
lime,
lime,
banana,
banana,
apple.
apple.
All right, very good. Very good. So now we're going to start combining things. We're going to combine the memory piece with the anticipation piece. And this time it'll be 3 directions and a fruit. I'll lead you off again. You guys are getting pretty good. You can go a little bit faster if you can, right? Again, just kind of time yourself to everybody else. Someone kind of step up and kind of pull everybody along with you works great. Again, it's okay to make mistakes, right? That's like one time in life, you don't have to worry about mistakes. Just go for it and mess up if you do, and just keep going. So 3 directions and a fruit this time. You guys ready? All right, let's go. Right,
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 left,
left,
down,
down,
blueberry.
blueberry,
Down, right,
right,
up,
up,
lime.
lime,
Down,
down,
left,
left,
down,
down,
apple.
apple,
Right,
right,
up,
up,
left,
left,
apple.
apple,
Left,
left,
up,
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 banana,
up,
up,
left,
left,
down,
down,
blueberry.
blueberry,
Right,
right,
up,
up,
right,
right,
apple.
apple,
nice.
Left,
left,
down,
down,
left,
left,
lime.
lime,
Up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
up,
banana.
banana,
Left,
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 down,
down,
apple.
apple,
Down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
blueberry.
blueberry,
Left,
left,
down,
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 banana.
banana,
Right,
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 down,
down,
apple.
apple,
Left,
left,
up,
up,
right,
right,
blueberry. Up,
up,
down,
down,
left,
left,
lime.
lime,
Down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right, apple,
apple.
All right, nice. Now, in a way, we kind of tricked your brain a little bit, because if you notice, I could hear that you actually did that much smoother than when it was a color at the end. There's a specific reason for that. When it's the color, it's a different part of your brain. When it's the fruit, you have to look ahead, see the color, translate it to fruit, and then execute on the fruit. So your brain is getting lazy, right? So it's starting to put the first three directions in the unconscious because it already knows them. So we're trying to create what we call being in flow or being in the zone, where you're thinking without thinking, which is the most efficient way to be mentally, right? In fact, one of our neuroscientists from Northwestern said this program actually optimizes system 1, which is fast and unconscious, and system 2, slow and conscious thinking, to get you into flow state, right? So you're kind of skimming along, making decisions, not thinking about it, and all of a sudden you're done. So that's what we're starting to create here. Now,
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
I think it's very useful, but you can also, can you at some point give us examples of what you work with Marines, or maybe more relevant to us in a VC or business environment where, for example, this type of thinking applies, like where this was very useful to a Marine in a fighting situation, or for example, in a pitch to a founder or to someone listening, or in a conference, like
yeah.
how?
So the key we're doing here, so one way to picture your brain is like a computer, right? So you have all different applications, right? So Marines, they're shooting and leading and whatever. You're maybe making a pitch to an investor, right? And so you want to train your applications, upgrade your applications as best you can so you can perform better.
Mhm.
Now, the operating system of the computer is kind of like we call the psychological level. So you may have, mental toughness coaches or psychology coaches or something that kind of deals with your mindset and how you see yourself in the environment. But as you know, the fastest and best way to improve all your applications and operating system is just to get a new computer, because the processor is faster. And in this case, that's what we're doing. We're actually upgrading the processor of your brain. So like with the Marines and with giving a pitch or a salesperson, we always start with these exercises, because when your brain is faster and more focused, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to do it better and with less effort. So, and that's how these exercises apply to Marines as well as a salesperson or making a pitch. Now, typically what we'll do, because I work with speakers as well and salespeople, so once the brain itself is faster and more focused, which is what we're trying to accomplish today, we can then customize some additional exercises specifically for that. Example, the Marines, for example, right? So what we had them do is when they would say the arrows, make a decision, I would have them do a trigger pull, right? Because that's what they have to do. So marksmanship got much better. For Kat, the goalie for the team, I had her move the way she would like to make saves, right? So we want that to be unconscious. As far as giving pitches, I work with someone for the Social Security Administration who that was his job. He'd travel around making all these presentations. And he said he used to spend so much time practicing the presentations the night before. In the morning, he said he doesn't do that anymore. He runs through it once at night, once in the morning, runs through the exercise we're going to finish up with here that we call the speed drill. And then he knows that not only does he know what he needs to say, but he can pick up on the people he's talking to. He can adjust on the fly. He's much quicker on his feet because his brain has been changed to be that way. Mm-hmm. So that's probably one of the biggest differences. Not a training program like for combat, right, or for sales. It's a brain training program that will allow you to do better at whatever you do.
Yes. No. Okay. Much clearer. Okay. That's
what we're doing, right? So, and each one, so this next one's going to be a little bit harder, right? We're going to go back, add the pattern recognition piece, but we're going to bring the color back in. So this is going to be direction, color, direction, fruit. So you have to remember direction, color, direction, fruit, right, yellow, down, blueberries the first row, right? And again, it's okay to make mistakes. So, as you go down, you're going to find the difference between the top and the bottom is pretty significant. That's what I love about this robust stimulation is your brain changes so fast. Everybody ready? I'll lead you off again. Ready? Let's go. Right,
yellow, down,
blueberry,
blueberry,
down,
red,
Up,
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 lime,
lime,
Good.
down,
down,
yellow,
yellow,
down,
down, apple,
apple,
right,
right,
blue,
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 left,
left, apple,
apple,
left,
left, green,
up,
up,
banana,
banana,
banana, up,
up,
yellow,
yellow,
down,
green,
oh, blueberry,
Blueberry.
right,
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 green,
green,
right,
Apple.
apple,
left,
left, blue,
blue,
left,
lime,
lime,
up,
up,
yellow,
yellow,
up,
up,
banana,
banana,
Good.
left,
left, red,
down,
green,
down,
apple,
apple,
down,
down, green,
green,
right,
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 blueberry,
blueberry,
left,
left, blue,
blue, down,
down,
banana,
banana,
right,
right,
right, yellow,
yellow,
down,
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 apple,
apple,
left,
left,
left, green,
green, banana,
banana,
blueberry,
blueberry,
up,
up,
green,
green,
left,
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 Lime.
lime,
Down.
down,
down,
green,
green,
right,
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 apple.
apple.
All right.
You know, it's-
I forgot the directions.
No,
You know,
no,
it's funny because green is lime. I always want to say lemon for yellow. I know it's banana, but I always want to say lemon.
Yeah, I have the problem with banana too.
Yeah, that's why they're all different, right? I trained a French tennis team once, and they insisted that green was apple because I guess in France apples are green, right? So,
John,
that's why
what were the
Right.
directions again? Was it direction, color,
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 direction, fruit.
Okay,
Yes,
so
that's
directions,
it.
okay.
Now, I'm going to send you guys, if you want, I'll send you instructions how you can practice on your own. Now, while you're in a group, but you can practice on your own, obviously, work with a lot of people on your own. The most important thing is what you're doing is saying it out loud, right? If you don't say it out loud, you're not getting the benefit. You're just reading in your mind. And so that's what I love about you guys. Even if you're not in a group and you're just on your own, you always want to say it out loud. So you probably don't want to do it in the bathroom, right? So someplace, where you can say things out loud and nobody cares. Although it is kind of funny when I work with companies, a lot of times we'll meet in the conference room and they'll all be saying this loud, right? And people will be walking by, looking in and thinking it's some kind of a cult or something.
Yeah.
So now let's stretch out and add the anticipation piece again. There. So go ahead. So
No, I was like, challenge is on.
Yeah, look at how
challenge,
big it is
right?
again.
So this one, we're going to actually just stretch out the color in the fruit. So the fourth column is the color. I've got a line there to make it easier. And the last column is the fruit. Now,
No.
if you email me again, I'll actually send you this on paper. So we're using a screen because it's a lot easier when a lot of people are in remote places. You're going to want to print this out on paper because that's another piece of the analog component, right? Because it's a piece of paper. And so you can fold it in half, open it back up, you'll have a crease down the middle. So 3 directions in a color, 3 directions in a fruit. Okay. And what I'll do is I'm going to count down 3, 2, 1. And then you guys go ahead and do this. Okay. So 3 directions in a color, 3 directions in a fruit.
So we don't do it together?
Yes, I'm sorry, you do it all together. This one you
Okay.
all do together again. So right, left, down, blue, up, right, up, banana. Out loud, just like you're doing. Again, if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. You're anticipating, you're remembering. We're kind of pulling everything we've been working on together into one exercise. Everybody ready? All right. In fact, rather than me, who wants to volunteer to lead you guys off? Larry? Okay, cool. So Larry, you go 3, 2, 1, 3 directions in a color, 3 directions in a fruit, and everybody else try to stay right in sync with Larry. All right.
3, 2, 1. Right,
Right,
left,
left,
down,
down,
blue.
blue,
Up,
up,
Right,
right,
up,
up,
banana.
banana,
Down,
down,
right,
right,
up,
up,
green.
green,
line,
left,
green,
Left,
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 down,
down,
apple.
apple,
Down,
down,
left,
left,
down,
down,
red.
red, down,
Down, up,
up,
right,
right,
blueberry.
blueberry,
Right,
right,
up,
up,
left,
left,
red.
red,
Left,
left,
down,
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 banana.
banana,
left,
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 up,
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 yellow,
yellow.
yellow,
right,
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 down,
down,
apple.
apple,
Up,
up,
left,
left,
down,
down,
blue.
blue,
Left,
right, left,
up,
up,
right,
right,
blueberry.
blueberry,
Right,
right,
up,
up,
right,
right,
red.
red,
Up,
up,
down,
down,
left,
left,
line.
line,
left,
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 down,
down,
left,
left,
green.
green,
Down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
apple.
apple,
Up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
up,
yellow.
yellow,
Right,
right,
left,
left,
down,
down,
blueberry.
blueberry,
Left,
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 down,
down,
red.
red,
Down,
down,
right,
right,
up,
up,
lime.
down,
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 up,
up,
right,
right,
blueberry.
blue,
Down,
down,
left,
left,
down,
down,
apple.
apple,
Good.
Left,
left,
down,
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 yellow.
yellow,
right,
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 up,
up,
left,
left,
apple.
apple,
Right,
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 down,
down,
red.
red,
Left,
left,
up,
up,
up, banana.
banana,
Left,
left,
up,
up,
right,
right,
blue.
blue,
Up,
up,
left,
left,
down,
down,
blueberry.
Hold on
blueberry,
one sec. Okay, hold on one sec. So you guys are doing great. For most of it, you're kind of following Larry, right? So Larry says that you guys, there's a few rows there where you were all in sync. So let's try to do the last 2 rows in sync, which means you have to anticipate when Larry's going to say the arrow, right? So there's all this cognitive stuff going on. So rather than following, try to say them all together, the last 2 rows, 3 directions color, 3 directions fruit. And Larry, you just do a countdown and start again.
we're still doing it together, right?
Yes, all together, but together, don't follow Larry. Try to anticipate and say it at the same time he says it.
3, 2, 1. Up,
Up,
down,
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 left,
left,
green,
green.
right,
Right,
right, up,
up,
right,
right,
apple,
apple.
Okay.
Down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
red,
red.
left,
Left,
left, down,
down,
left,
left,
line.
Good. All right. Nice. Good job. Good job. All right. So let's go back and let's go back to the very first thing we did and try it again. Remember in the beginning, that was an example of your current processing. It was hard to stay focused. It was hard to keep going. I'm going to time you again. I'm going to count down, and I want you to do the same thing we did in the beginning for our baseline. Basically, only the directions, no color, no fruit, as fast as you can, as loud as you'd like, right? It's going to be a race again, so you got to tune everybody else out. As fast as you can, I'll give you a hint, don't stop at the end of each row, just try to keep going, try to minimize your breathing. It's all about speed. only directions. Everybody ready? On your mark, get set, go.
Right, left,
Right,
down,
left,
up,
down,
right,
up,
up, right, down,
up,
right, up, down,
down,
left,
right,
left, down,
down,
left,
down,
down,
right,
left,
left,
down,
down,
right, down, up,
down, left,
right,
down, right,
down,
down,
right,
up,
up,
right,
left, left,
down,
left, down,
right,
down, right,
right, down,
right,
right,
up,
left,
right,
left,
right,
down,
right,
down,
down,
right,
left,
right,
up,
left,
left,
up,
down, up,
right,
left,
right,
up,
down,
right,
left,
up,
up, left,
right, up,
down,
right,
up,
right, up,
left,
down,
up,
left, up,
right, up,
right, down,
right,
left,
down, up,
down,
right,
down,
right,
up,
down, right,
right,
left,
left,
down,
up,
left, down,
right,
left,
up,
down,
right,
down,
left,
up,
down, up,
right,
left, left,
up,
down,
left,
left, down,
right,
right, up,
left,
down,
right, right,
down,
left,
up,
down,
right, down,
left,
down,
left,
left, down,
down,
right,
left,
left,
down,
down,
right,
down, right,
right,
right, up, left, left,
down, up,
right,
left,
right,
right,
down,
down,
left, left,
down,
up,
right,
right,
left,
left, up,
down, right,
right,
up,
up,
right, left,
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 down,
right, right,
up,
down,
down,
left,
left,
up,
right, right,
right,
down,
left, up,
right,
right, up,
left, left,
left,
down,
down,
left, down.
down, left, up, right, up, right, right.
Keep
Oh, I'm
going,
being slow this time.
keep going.
Oh, down, up, left, up, right, left, down, down.
Excellent, excellent. So speed wise, much faster, right? So the fastest, and Larry and I mean, you guys, 56 seconds, right? So that's 14 seconds faster than before. And Bonnie, even though you talked and finished, you were still 110. So you were still
You're kidding.
fast as when we started. So much faster, and you guys probably experienced it was easier to stay on track, right? It was easier to turn everybody else out, easier to make those decisions. And just that little bit of time we spent, your brain is already faster and more focused, which is exactly what we want, right? That's going to help you overcome the things that are holding you back from your success. Now, there's one more, I know we're kind of running a little tight on time. There's one more thing I want to do that's very important. And we'll do it on the half page, just so you can experience it. And then I'll send you instructions on how to do it. Very, very important. We're using your eyes, ears, and mouth. We want to engage your hands for two very important reasons. One, almost everything we do is with our hands, right? Whether you're keyboarding, playing sports, presenting, but also because the left side of the brain controls the right side of the body and vice versa. When we can engage your hands simultaneously with your decisions, we're now also stimulating right brain, left brain connections. The profession with the fastest right brain, left brain connections are actually professional drummers, because they do different things with each hand, plus they're thinking. And so all those connections are stimulated. So in fact, one of my clients was an opera singer and a pianist, fell out of a tree, severe coma for 4 months, came back out of it. When I first started working with her, she could barely speak and barely use her hands. Now I've got her playing the piano again, right? Because she landed on her corpus callosum. So now we've got those connections. You can play the piano and sing again. Because we've stimulating those connections, very important right brain, left brain. So for this, what I want you to do is only directions, no color, no fruit, just top to bottom, only the directions. Larry, you can give a 3, 2, 1 count again, but I want you to tap both of your hands on something. It could be a table, it could be your legs. What we want is a stimulation from all 10 fingers to touch something when you say the arrow, right? So you're making a decision at the same time we're sending the signal from all 10 fingers to your brain at the same time. So just it doesn't have to be heavy, right? Right, left, down, up is fine. On the table or on your legs or something. Okay, any questions?
And all together?
All together, yep. So we're adding a lot of mental effort, even though you might not be aware of it, right? You're saying it, now you got to think about your hands. You still have to stay in sync with everybody else while you make the decision. So we're just really providing a lot of this robust stimulation to make your brains change quickly. Everybody ready? Larry, you want to give a countdown?
3, 2, 1. Right, left,
Right, left,
down,
up,
up, down, right, up, down, left, down, right, up, left, left,
left,
up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
up,
left,
left,
down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
up,
right,
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 left,
left,
down,
down,
left,
left,
down,
up,
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 right,
right,
up,
up,
right,
right,
left,
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 left, down,
down,
left,
left, down,
down,
up,
up, right,
right,
down,
down,
left,
left,
down,
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 right,
right,
right, right,
right,
down,
down,
left,
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 up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
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 down,
down,
left,
left,
up,
up,
down,
down,
up, right,
right,
left.
left.
Very nice, very nice. Nice in sync, everybody with the tapping. So one more exercise to really try, what we're trying to do is actually get two zombie systems in sync, right? So you don't want your brain to have to use a lot of bandwidth figuring out what you're gonna do with your hands, right? You want it to be automatic. So we're gonna try to separate those a little bit, do the same thing you just did, but every blue arrow just tap twice. Okay, now the difficulty of this is you don't say it twice and you don't say blue. You're saying the direction while you're sending a completely different signal to your hands to tap twice. So right, left, down, up. Okay? If you make a mistake, don't worry about it, just keep going. All right, ready? Go ahead, Larry.
3, 2, 1. Right,
Right,
left,
left,
down,
down,
up,
up,
down,
down,
right,
right,
up,
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 down,
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 left,
left,
down,
down,
right,
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 up,
up,
left,
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 up,
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 right,
left,
Good.
right,
up,
up,
left,
left,
down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
up,
right,
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 left,
left,
down,
down, left,
left, down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
up,
right,
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 left,
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 down,
down,
left,
left,
down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
down,
down,
right,
left,
left,
down,
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 down, right, right,
right,
right,
right,
down,
down,
left,
left, left,
left,
up,
up,
right,
right,
up,
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 right, up, down,
left,
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 up,
up,
down,
down,
up,
up,
right,
right,
left.
left.
Excellent. I normally about half the people say blue. You guys did great on that one. They're very separating the hands and the brain, right? So last one we're going to do, and then
I'm tired.
I know, brain gets tired, right? You can probably feel it. You know, one of the great benefits of this for, especially as we get older, is it significantly increases blood flow to your brain. You know, one of the reasons we lose memory when we get older is the capillaries dry up and the neurons die. But when we have all this blood flowing through the brain, we can reverse that, which we've actually been able to do in some cases. So last one, and the reason this is important, and I'll tell you why afterwards. So go the same race you did before. The only difference is you're tapping your hands. Okay, so as fast as you can, when I say go, I'll time you again. Let's see what happens. Let's see if the hands are slowing you down or not, or we'll see what happens. So as fast as you can, as loud as you'd like, the only difference is with your tapping. Everybody ready? And go.
right, left, down, up, right, down, right, up, down, left, down, left, down, left, down, right, down, up, right, down, right, up, left, down, right, right, up, left, right, down, left, up, left, down, up, left, right, up, right, up, right, up, down, left, up. Left, down, down, up, right, up, right, up, right, left, down, up, left, down, right, up, down, up, right, down, left, down, right, left, down, right, up, left, right, down, left, up, right, left, up, right, up, left, down, up, down, left, right, up, right, down, up, right, left, down, left, down.
Nice. All right. Now, one of the things you notice is, you probably notice in the beginning, you're kind of, one an arrow at a time, but there's spurts there. Bonnie, I heard you racing ahead, right? Where you're doing a whole bunch at the same time. That's what we want. We want your brain looking ahead, processing much larger chunks of information. That was very impressive because even though you added your hands, which is, significant cognitive overhead, the fastest was 54, so 2 seconds faster. And the last, Bonnie, you were 4 seconds faster this time than you were last time with your hands, right? So
I was going to ask if,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to ask if using your hands makes it faster or easier.
Well, for some people it does, but it does add a lot of overhead. So a couple things. That last one I wanted to get you to because that's the most important. We call it a speed drill, right? It basically takes you guys a minute or less. That's the one you want to use when you get up in the morning before a meeting, before you present, before you do any work. And the goal is to get not just fast, but also smooth. And the more you do this, the smoother it will be because that's your brain smoothing out all the data and taking more data in faster. If you go through this and you're having trouble staying fast and smooth because your mind is wandering, then do it again. One of the group I work with are traders, right? So they always do this before they trade. And if they can't get through one of these without their mind wandering, they're not ready to trade, right? So they'll go through it again or 3 times if they need to. Once you get through this fast and smooth, now you're mentally ready for anything that's coming. And of course, it's a minute, right? So you can do it anytime, as many times during the day as you want to. The other way to practice is the patterns we did, right? With the color and then the fruit. So what I want to do is, I'd love to hear from you guys. There's my email, right? Send me an email and I will send you kind of a recap of everything we did, as well as some ways to make it harder. So one of the next things you want to do with the tapping, because that's easy, is try alternate tapping. Okay, much harder at first because you might be saying left while you're tapping with your right hand, but eventually that becomes just fast and smooth. Okay, and I'll also, in what I send you, there'll be some different ways you can practice with the patterns. If you want to meet with me, there's a QR code there. It just sets up a meeting in my calendar so we can meet by Zoom, talk about stuff. Love to talk about any way I can help you, either everything from process to habits to mindset to brain training for you and your team. So, reach out to me anytime and I'll send you the information and then we can continue to talk as well. So
thank you so much.
Yeah. Any questions?
One of the difficult things there was something like, we were doing just one tapping, but with one hand you'll do like this and the other is like this, so like different types of hands, but this gets confusing after a while.
Yes, exactly. And you can do that same thing with a blue arrow, right? So if you're doing even alternate tapping and you have to double tap on one, and another thing you can do, which we didn't do, is you can actually do a no tap, right? Very important for impulse control. So for example, typically what we would do on every yellow arrow, don't tap. Now you have to not do something that you're intended to. This is huge actually for speaking, right? So you're presenting to a group of people, you don't want to say the wrong word, right? You want to be constantly aware of what you're doing, and be able to prepare for it mentally, right? We're trying to do all your thinking, we're trying to put it all into your unconscious. So all the stuff happens without you having to consciously think about it.
John, you can
Yeah.
do almost any combination of the different things we're doing
Yeah.
to make this more and more complicated. Have you
Yes.
experimented with what's the threshold? Where do people fall off the cliff in terms of the number of variables
You
that you
know,
have to do per line?
that's another excellent question, because typically, or the conventional wisdom is we can only hold 6 or 7 things in our mind. But when we rely on pattern recognition, that extends tremendously. So this is level 1, right? This is the easiest arrows. We do a lot of work with this. We have a harder variation that actually has numbers in it as well. And so we can add even more variations. So I've had some of my students, my clients, we always start easy, right? You start one, like you can start with the color in the fruit, you can mix them around. We've had up to 12 different variables that they remember and get through. We just add another one, they remember the pattern unconsciously. And so probably at this point, I don't know if maybe they could do more, but up to 12 different patterns that they have to remember. Now, Trevor, my CFL quarterback, who's probably the most advanced at this, he does even different types of variables. He'll do a different one each row. Then he'll do, he'll shift them a column over. So he does really, really hard stuff. And, he had a pass completion record better than Tom Brady when we started this. So, it definitely helped him on the football field. But you can continue to go, Larry, as far as you want. I think in the information I send you, I'll give you another variable you can add, which is compass directions, right? Fruit is a variable off the color. Compass is a variable off of the direction, right? So you can go, direction, compass, direction, fruit, direction, compass. Every time you mix up the pattern, it improves your mental agility, right? How quickly can you adjust to new patterns of information that are coming in? So,
what I discovered also about myself, for me, the hardest was actually when everybody was on their own, when we were trying to do it as quickly as possible. And the challenge, I just found out that I'm actually more focused on listening to others. And I think this is from business or private life, like to be able to listen to 3 different conversations and understand them. So that's where my focus is. And I kept, sometimes I would focus, but then I don't hear anyone. But that's not what I'm trained to do. In life, somehow, I don't know, in your family conversation, 3 people speaking there, 4 people just hearing what's going on there as well, also being engaging in a conversation. I'm much more used to that. I don't know why, but the other was, I totally understand the difference, but that was the hardest for me.
Well, and it makes sense. What we're trying to do is improve actually selective focus as opposed to just focus, right? So in the beginning, maybe you train everybody else out to focus, but you're gonna experience, if you keep practicing this, and team is even happening even faster. What happens is you kind of drift yourself back. We call it metacognition, where you're almost like you're observing what's going on. And so if there are multiple conversations going on, you'll be able to selectively focus on each one. The other thing that happens, salespeople that do this a lot, they tell me that it's almost, if they want to speak, it's almost like they can see the words before they say them and rearrange them, swap out words, rearrange them, and then they just go with what's in their mind unconsciously, and it comes out much better, slower, more effective than before where they would just say words. So we want to develop that metacognition where you are, the data is coming in, you have like a buffer, so you can pick and choose. Probably the most extreme example of that is an Olympic skier I trained a few years ago, who said she can ski faster without making mistakes, because she can see the snow conditions further out, right? So she's going down a hill at 100 miles an hour. Her eyes are the same and the snow is the same, but her ability to see that information out here and then make the decisions she needs to under pressure improve significantly. And that's the same thing you'll experience, especially if you keep going on with this program. That's what's going to become easier and easier for you as you process information.
Interesting. Well, thank you, Bonnie, and for making us experience something very different.
Thank you, John. Yeah,
Thank you,
I
John.
invite
for all
John.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, I invite John back every now and then, just because I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I always enjoy the people you have on. You're always interesting, and so this was good for me too. And
Thank you.
And Bonnie and Larry, you've experienced this before. Let me know if you think this is better, because before it was just a bunch of slides, and I
Yeah.
want to make it a little more interactive. So if this is
This meeting was so much better.
oh good,
Yeah, it was nice. It was, yeah.
good. Thank you.
A lot of your
Yeah,
front
broke
end,
up and-
a lot of your front end stuff was really helpful. It was sort of a
Good.
really good lead into the exercise. No, I thought this was really well done.
Good. Well, thanks. It's easier for me too. I hate doing slides. Oh, great. All right, my email is there. Please reach out, and I will send you kind of the recap of what we did. There's the QR code to meet. Love to meet and talk to you guys some more. Whatever I can do to help.
And we thank you for always generously giving us your time. And we want to thank WorkChief for hosting us. And people are already asking me when the video is going to be up. Christine.
And Bonnie,
I'll get
and
that.
Bonnie, thank you for all your hard work. You do
Yeah.
these things are great. So awesome.
And Will is back. And
Hi.
welcome back, Will. Can you actually speak? You weren't able to participate, but we will put the video up, and John will give the information if you reach out to him.
Yeah, thank you for hosting this, and thank you, John. I look forward to the recording and practicing.
Good. Yes. Practice. Yeah, definitely practice. Will make a big difference.
And by the way, I use something called Fathom on these meetings, and it actually lets me tack into insights as everybody's talking. And if you'd like, I can send you the link to the recording and all the insights as they're broken out into an outline. It's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So,
Wow.
I'd love it.
all right, so you know, Bonnie, I'll send it to you, and I'll let you forward it to the group.
Okay, and I'll make sure to send it to you as well, Christine.
Perfect. Thank you.
Sounds great. Yeah. Awesome.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah. Guys, have a great rest of your week. Good weekend and all those good things. Larry, looking forward to talking to you guys anytime. Reach out.
Hey,
Okay.
John, I'm going to send you a link for a Zoom. Let's jump on that.
Perfect.
Okay.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thanks, everybody, and see you soon.
Take care.
Bye.